The phrase drinking the Kool-Aid may not be as old as Kool-Aid, but it has been around for over half a century. The use of this phrase dates back to 1968 when it was used in a non-fictional book known as the Electric Kool-Aid Acid test. But what does it mean and who helped put it on the map? Let's find out. The phrase drinking the Kool-Aid is used to describe someone who accepts an idea or belief without question, or who is extremely devoted to a cause. The phrase was popularized by the 1978 Jonestown Massacre, where over 900 members of the People's Temple drank a fruit punch laced with cyanide and other drugs. Let's dive into Jim Jones's role in coining and popularizing this phrase. After all, nobody is born evil. Jim Jones's childhood was marked by hardship, isolation, and an early fascination with religion and power, shaping the foundation for his later life as a cult leader. Born on May 13, 1931, in the small town of Crete, Indiana, Jones grew up in extreme poverty during the Great Depression. His father, a disabled and emotionally distant World War I veteran, was largely absent from his life, leaving Jim to be raised primarily by his mother, Lynetta. A fiercely independent woman, Lynetta instilled in Jones a belief that he was destined for greatness. However, their family's struggles to fit into their conservative community left Jones feeling like an outsider, fueling a desire for acceptance and control. He was an unusual child, often obsessed with religion and death, holding funeral ceremonies for small animals and preaching to other children. This early exposure to authority through mock sermons hinted at his future desire to command attention and influence others. Jones's early exposure to racial and social inequality also had a profound impact on his worldview. Growing up in a segregated community, he was deeply affected by the discrimination he witnessed, developing a sense of empathy for marginalized groups. At the same time, he became enthralled by the charismatic power of revivalist preachers in local churches, marveling at their ability to captivate and control large crowds. These experiences planted the seeds for his later blend of religious fervor and social justice rhetoric. However, his obsession with power and authority also began to take shape. He was known to manipulate his peers, demanding loyalty and punishing those who disobeyed. These early tendencies toward control, coupled with his fascination with religion and equality, foreshadowed his ability to draw people into the People's Temple while simultaneously enforcing absolute obedience. In the mid-1950s, Jones founded the People's Temple in Indianapolis, Indiana, blending Christian teachings with socialist ideals. He preached racial integration, equality, and communal living, attracting a diverse congregation, particularly among marginalized communities. Charismatic and persuasive, Jones used his oratorical skills and public works, such as free meals and health clinics, to draw followers. However, his teachings began to shift as he gained power. He rejected traditional Christianity, proclaiming himself a savior figure, and claimed he could heal the sick and perform miracles. Jones cultivated loyalty through fear, surveillance, and punishment. Members who questioned his authority faced public humiliation, physical abuse, or were ostracized within the community. As the People's Temple grew, Jones became increasingly paranoid about external threats, particularly government intervention. Reports of abuse and coercion within the temple, combined with allegations of financial fraud, drew the attention of law enforcement and journalists. Seeking to escape scrutiny, Jones relocated his followers to a remote jungle settlement in Guyana in 1977, which he named Jonestown. Marketed as a utopian community, Jonestown was, in reality, a prison-like compound. Members worked long hours in harsh conditions, were cut off from the outside world, and were subjected to Jones's erratic and authoritarian rule. He used white nights, rehearsals for mass suicide, to instill fear and loyalty among his followers, ensuring their obedience. Jones's ability to enroll members into his cult relied heavily on his ability to exploit vulnerabilities. He targeted individuals struggling with racism, poverty, or personal trauma, offering them a sense of purpose and community. Once inside, members were subjected to intense indoctrination and isolation. Jones's punishments for dissent were severe and often public. He orchestrated beatings, forced confessions, and even sexual exploitation as a means of control. His followers were told that leaving the temple would result in dire consequences, including divine punishment or harm from external enemies. The situation at Jonestown reached its tragic climax in November 1978 when U.S. Congressman Leo Ryan visited the settlement to investigate allegations of abuse. After some temple members expressed a desire to leave, Jones's paranoia exploded. He ordered his armed guards to attack Ryan and his entourage at the airstrip, resulting in the assassination of the congressman and several others. In the hours that followed, Jones commanded his followers to commit revolutionary suicide by consuming cyanide-laced Flavor Aid or Kool-Aid, claiming it was a protest against oppression. Over 900 people, including children, died in what remains one of history's most harrowing mass tragedies, cementing Jim Jones as a symbol of the destructive power of cults and authoritarian leadership. So what do you think? Is he the most ruthless cultist in history?